My name's Casey Hill. I am an IFBB Bikini Pro. I was born and raised in Northeast Ohio, but now I currently live in Tampa, Florida. I have lived here since 2015, so I think it's been like 8 years. Yeah, I love it here. I'm 31 years old. I've been competing since 2017, so it's been 6 years, I believe. Seven, yeah. And then I work for a hormone clinic here in Tampa currently. I'm the weight loss specialist with them, and I help sell like semaglutide, tirzepatide, all those wonderful weight loss medications that are doing wonders for people currently. I have a dog named Toby. He's literally my baby. And yeah, I just live and breathe in this sport. And I'm in the, in my off time, I'm in the gym when I'm not working and or hanging out with friends or family.
So you said you're from Ohio, right? You're originally?
Yes.
What part?
Medina?
I've been there.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, that's
There's literally
hilarious.
nothing there.
Yeah, so living there, I mean, when you said there's nothing there, it's a very small town. So what were the kind of the roots for you in the world of health and fitness?
My passion for fitness came. My mom was always like working out, not like lifting weights, but she like ran to stay healthy. She quit smoking and picked up running, and seeing her do that and eat healthy just kind of was like my motivation to be young. And because I this is when I was in high school, was to eat healthy like her, and then like go on runs with her and try to be physically fit. I mean, I was an athlete growing up. I grew up playing softball and then soccer, and I was a cheerleader all through high school and grade school. So I always was like fit and active. I wouldn't say I was the smallest girl. I always, was a little not chunky, but I was always like more built, I guess you could say.
Are you a personal trainer, online fitness coach, or gym owner on the verge of burnout? Are you wanting to grow your fitness business but can't add more hours to your hectic schedule? Introducing Trainer Revenue Multiplier, the premier wealth creation system for fitness professionals that helps you earn more and work less. Visit www.trainerrevenuemultiplier.com today to schedule your free business accelerator session. If you're serious about taking your business to the next level, schedule your call today.
So when I picked up weight training when I was in college. I took a weight training class and I really liked it. One of my best friends from college, her and I would go to the rec center at Ohio University. It was called Ping, like all the time. And we would work out and lift and like act like we knew what we were doing. And like we literally had no idea. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I got into working out and staying healthy and trying to like dig deep and see, what is weight training and how can I do better at it. And so after I graduated from college, I continued to go to the gym and try to eat healthy, tried to learn what macros were and stuff like that, just from like following people on Instagram and, watching YouTube channels and stuff like that.
What was your experience with the weights?
I never really felt intimidated by guys being in the gym or working out next to guys in the gym. I think it's because I was always close with my guy friends through college as well, and I remember them like going to the gym with them too, and working out with them, or they would be there and I'd be working out next to them and stuff like that. So I've never really felt that intimidation that some girls say that they get, go walking into the weight room at the gym from, guys being around. And I don't know, I guess I've never experienced something like that. So I can't really relate.
So pretty smooth as far as that goes. How about just in general with like the consistency at first or, having maybe a plan or anything along those lines?
So I guess it was a lot of just doing research, like how I said, like I'd be on Instagram scrolling and I'd see this girl, like I think it was Heidi Summers, Buff Bunny. Like I followed her and watched all her YouTubes, and I remember just like seeing her workouts that she posted, and or Katie Hearn, I would see the workouts that she would do, and like I would go to my notes on my phone and I would just write out the workouts, and then I would just see how they like set up their splits, and I would pretty much just do the same thing and steal their workouts. So I would literally go to the gym and then make my friends do the workouts with me, and we would just do them. I'd have it all written out. And then if I like was like, oh wait, what is this movement that they did? I just go back to the video or to their Instagram posts, and I would see what it was, and then I just do it.
And at that point, how much of the nutritional side were you looking into? Were you implementing?
I wasn't, I was in college. um, I was I went to Ohio University, which is at the time one of the biggest party schools, and I had did my time. Having fun, drinking, partying, doing that thing. And so I didn't really think about nutrition very much. And that's when I moved to Florida, that came into more of a realization for me. That's where I met one of my friends in the gym, and he's like, you should compete. And that's kind of where competing came along the way. And he started coaching me, and he was like, you should compete, you should do a show. I was like, I just moved here. I know it's expensive. Give me like a year, let me save my money, and then we'll go from there. And he's like, okay. So he kind of taught me how to do macros. He wrote out my workout plans at that point. So then I was getting experience with that. I was learning how to track macros with my fitness pal. And a year came up, and he said, all right, let's do this. And I was like, all right, I'm ready. We got a week into prep, and I texted him one day, and I didn't hear back from him. And I was at work at the time. I was working as a life insurance agent, and I was out in the field. I was at a house, and I got a text message from a mutual friend, and they said, hey, Ben overdosed last night on heroin. And I was devastated. Yeah, he was one of my best friends, one of my first friends when I moved to Florida that I met. And he was my coach. And so then at that point, I was like, okay, well, I want to do this. I want to do this for Ben. So then I continued to prep, and I found another coach, and I was able to do my first show. That was June of 2017. And I just fell in love with it.
So initially, what actually got you to move down to Florida?
My grandparents live in Sarasota,
Okay.
and my cousins live in West Palm. And so I've always vacationed here, and I remember I think it was my sophomore year of college. I came down during one of my spring breaks, and I stayed in West Palm with my cousins. And I told them, I was like, I'm going to move here. And so then I was like, I'm going to move after college. And I did. So I made it happen. I guess it was easier because I did have my grandparents here. So it's not like I didn't have family here. And my mom ended up moving down a year later with her fiance. So then that made it a little easier. And then I travel back home to Ohio at least twice a year to visit my dad and his side of the family. So once I was able to establish friendships here, and build like my own family here out of my friendships, out of the relationships that I have built, it became easier. Like now when I go home, I can't wait to get back here.
From a small town to in Ohio to a bigger city in Tampa, Florida, like it's a lot different just culturally and everything. But what about the fitness side of things was different?
Oh, it's a huge difference. It's like a huge 180. In Medina, it's not fitness at all. You get the average person who goes to the gym maybe 3 times a week, and then every night they're going home and having, a glass of wine every night, or they're drinking every night, or they're going out to dinner or ordering in, here it's the opposite. Everyone my age as a young adult, even people who have kids that I know, they're in the gym, Monday through Saturday. It's a lifestyle here, and up north it's not. It's I don't know if it's because here, we're in bathing suits year round, but it's different. It definitely is different. And you see the differences I know I see the differences when I travel back home, and you just like look around, and it's like not this, it's different. I don't know how to explain it.
And then going down obviously to Tampa, there's quite a few kind of really well-known gyms. Did you check those out, or was it kind of just like whatever gym's close, that's what I'm gonna go to? How did you handle that?
Yeah, so obviously you got Crunch Fitness, which is on like every street here in Florida. I started out going to Crunch Fitness, and then as I developed more into, competing and weightlifting and, really going to the gym to train and not just like go to the gym to work out and, meet people, it turned into, okay, I need to start going to like a real gym, a real bodybuilding gym like Powerhouse and MI40. And that's kind of how I navigated that. It was just kind of, step out of your comfort zone, step out of the corporate gyms, look into the local gyms, see what feels good to you, where you feel you fit in, and go from there. So that's just how I just navigated it. It was just like as I became more educated and more aware of my surroundings, then I kind of made that step and that leap into those more bodybuilding gyms like Powerhouse and MI40.
And obviously going into a gym like MI40, you might see a Mr. Olympia in there, right? You might see other
Yes.
Olympians or, even IFBB pros, obviously like yourself now, but like when you first go into that kind of environment, what did that do for you?
It's so motivating.
Are you a personal trainer who wants to scale and grow your business online? Have you been coaching online for years, yet don't know how to incorporate online into your current business model? Introducing Trainer Revenue Multiplier, the premier wealth creation system for fitness professionals that helps you earn more and work less. Visit www.trainerrevenuemultiplier.com today to schedule your free business accelerator session. If you're serious about taking your business to the next level, schedule your call today.
I guess I could tell you this story. I was at Powerhouse one day, and it was probably 2018, probably 2019, I think it was. And there's this big guy in there working out, and I just like went over to him, and I was like, I like made some joke, you know what I mean? I was like, "Oh, is that enough weight for you?" or something like that, you know what I mean? And I look over at my boyfriend at the time. He goes, "Do you know who that is?" I was like, "No." He was like, "That's Derek Lunsford." And I was like, "Okay, I don't know who that is." He goes, "He's Mr. USA. He just won the Tampa Pro and then went into the Olympia in the 212 and placed top 5." I was like, "Oh." And it's just like, and now of course Derek Lunsford and his wife Chelsea are they're my best friends. I'm really close with them, and it's just like looking back now and seeing that, and then like getting closer and closer to them. It's just funny to look back at. But when you go into the gym and you see him there and he's training at MI40 and you're there, it's just like it's a different atmosphere because you see him working hard, so it makes you want to work hard, and you're like, oh wow, like that's how I need to work in the gym so I can be top level Olympian like him. Okay, let's do it, and then you push harder.
What do you think has really been some of the biggest things that you've learned, maybe practical things that you've learned from being in that environment?
Yeah, I would say who you surround yourself with is going to be huge. So I know that I've learned by surrounding myself with people who are on that high caliber of the Olympia stage is they have given me words of advice like don't isolate yourself. When you're in prep, you get so focused in on, you're checking the boxes, doing everything that you're supposed to do that day. And then you realize you're so tired, you kind of don't want to be around people. Don't do that, because if you do that, you're going to put yourself in a bad mental space. You're just going to be alone, and that's going to make you depressed, and it's going to be sad. So you need to still make sure that you're nurturing your relationships with the people who mean the most to you. So you need to get out there. You need to spend time with your friends, even if it's just inviting them over to hang out on the couch and talk about your guys' week and turn on a movie and you guys are just chilling together. That's going to mean more than, going out and getting dressed up and sitting at a fancy dinner that you're not even going to, eat because you're in prep. But just inviting them over, going over to their house and just spending time with them is going to not just be so good for them, but it's going to be good for you because you're not going to be sitting in your house alone in depression. You got to make sure that you're if you're not taking care of your mental health, then nothing else matters. And if you're not spending time with those people who cheer you on day in and day out and want nothing but the best for you, then you're going to get on that stage and you're going to get off of it. And there's no one's going to be there to celebrate with you. And that's not enjoyable.
Right. And do you feel like, you mentioned it a few times, but kind of like how it can be it can be a mental battle. Do you think that sometimes maybe it's because of social media or maybe it's just people in general, but people sometimes tend to over exaggerate things, or like they'll say that this is so bad or this thing was terrible, or, whatever it may be, any given situation or any given experience, people kind of blow it out of the water sometimes. But when you go through something really kind of challenging, and not to say that bodybuilding is like the most challenging thing that's ever happened or someone will ever do, but it certainly can be very challenging, very mentally and obviously physically too, very challenging. Do you think that new bodybuilders kind of get into it without the realization that this actually is something that's going to be challenging?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a point to that. People just want to start prep because they see how glamorous it is on stage day because it's of social media. They see, the person's happy because they're shredded and they're in the gym and they're enjoying, their workouts, but they don't see the behind the screen. They don't see um the like, for example, they don't see I'm trying to think of an instance when with my family. So, like, for example, on Thanksgiving last year, I was in prep for my pro card for nationals, and I couldn't enjoy the day how my mom would have wanted to enjoy the day. People don't see that or see those emotions, not from my side, but they don't see the emotions from what my mom is feeling when I'm not sitting there eating her food that she just made for me. So then, like, they don't understand. A lot of people would have caved right then and there. Your family isn't going to understand the sport right away, but they will eventually. Luckily I have the best family. They support me. My mom was there when I won my pro card, and it was the best thing. And my dad's constantly checking in on me and wondering, how are you doing today? Like, how's bodybuilding going? When's your next prep and stuff like that? But people on social media who see the glamorous side and don't and see, the good things, and then they start a prep, they don't understand that there's a lot of sacrifice in this sport. And that is, those Thanksgiving dinners, that's the celebrations with your family when it's someone's birthday and you can't actually really enjoy that moment because you're tired, you're hungry, and you have to sit there and you have to watch your family be happy and joyful, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I just want to go home and go to bed. So I feel like a lot of people don't see that, and that's when they get to that point in their journey, when they first start competing and they come to that challenge, they just kind of crash because they don't understand that that's a mental aspect of the sport.
At what point did you think that I can reach this? And did having that realization change anything in your head about getting there?
I would say the point where I realized that it was possible was hmm, I don't think it was until when I stepped on stage at Junior Nationals last year in 2022 when I got a first call out at a national show. I have never won an overall at an NPC show. Yeah, I've won a show. I've won first place in my class, and then I've gone and placed 16th or 10th place at a national level show. So it wasn't until this past year at Junior Nationals in 2022 that when I got sixth place and received that first call that I knew that this is where I was supposed to be and I had the potential of turning pro. It was just a matter of time. It was a matter of, you got to keep showing up for yourself. And so I kept showing up. After Junior Nationals, I went to Universe, and then I placed top four. That was my first placing on a national level show. And that was huge. It was just like, okay, this is really, really meant to be. And from there, I just kept grinding. I kept listening to my heart. I kept listening to my friends who supported me, and they kept saying, you can do this, you're supposed to do this, you're on the right path, just keep working hard. And then something in my gut told me, to do nationals, because I didn't do USAs. I took a step back. I had some life things going on, and I need to focus on other areas in my life for a little bit. And I was like, something in my gut told me, do nationals. You're right there. You're so close. It's right in Orlando. It's literally like an hour and a half drive. You love the show. Like, I've done nationals before. It's not an easy show I do. I'm not saying it's like easy to do it. I'm saying it's easy as in like the way they run the show is really nice and smooth. And so I did it, and I turned out on top, and I took second place, and I won my pro card. So I guess you could say, you don't know until you really get that gratification or that sign, that you do belong in the sport.
And along the way, as you're continuing to get closer, right? You're getting that, I think you said sixth place and then fourth place. And then, at that point, is it like, what else can I do? Is there that thought in your head? Like, what maybe it's one thing I'm not doing that other people are doing, or maybe it's I need to do a little bit different of macros or a meal plan, or a little bit different if I just tweak my training here. If I just get this maybe 30 more minutes of sleep per night, that'll be the difference. Like, for you, was your mind going there, or was your mind more in the area of like, let me just continue to be consistent with what I'm doing?
Yeah, of course. Every prep and every time you get ready to do a show, or you're getting ready to step on stage, there's always something that can be better. And I think that's what drives us as athletes, is like we're always looking to improve. You always get your feedback. My feedback was I was too lean. I needed to fill out more. I needed to fill out more. So going into my shows, it was nice because I was eating. I wasn't starving. I wasn't killing myself doing 2 hours of cardio a day. Because my feedback was constantly like, you need to fill out. You need to be fuller on stage. So that's what we tweaked every time we went into a show, was just my peaking process. We had to change that. And by changing, going from Universe, we ate a burger and fries the night before. And going into nationals, we decided to keep it 100% clean meals, stick with the macros, and we did it macro based. So I was eating more rice. I was eating more cream of rice, more almond butter, more avocado, more coconut oil, and I think that really helped us figure out what amount of food I really needed, to be able to be successful and fill out properly with what the judges were asking of me.
For you, was there any intuition that it was going to happen?
So yes, just this. I remember the night before, sitting with Ashlyn, who was my coach, winning my pro card, and she was at the hotel, and I went to go see her, like my nightly check-ins, and she was like, "How are you feeling?" And I was like, "I feel really good. I just feel calm. Like, I just feel at peace. I just feel like I am where I'm supposed to be." And she was like, that's the sign. She was like, "You're gonna win your pro card tomorrow." And I did. So it's just a feeling. It's just a feeling that you get. And when you have that feeling, and when everything feels like it's right, everything's just coming together, then that's when it's the time.
Coming off stage, having achieved this thing after 5 years, I think. What would that
Yeah.
be? So after 5 years of doing this thing, and have kind of, I want to say, inching your way, but year after year doing this thing, continuing to go through the process of the prep and the off season and the figuring out what you got to do, and then repeating that cycle. I mean, what was that experience like for you, just getting off stage and knowing that you had reached this point? And along those same lines, was there any thought of like, oh man, I'm kind of like back at the, not bottom, but I'm back at the beginning point of another journey here?
Yeah, definitely. So like after, winning my pro card, that's kind of like where I'm at now. I'm at the bottom. I'm a little fish in a big pond again, or, going into the IFBB. And, at the national level stage, the judges knew who I was there, but they don't know me as a pro, and they don't know me next to those top names. So it is scary. It is intimidating, but all I can do is, be my best self day in and day out until the day that I do make that pro debut. And then I can go from that feedback that they give me at my pro debut, and just continue to improve from there. So it's definitely intimidating. I'm nervous, of course, but I'm also excited to be able to accomplish another goal. And I look forward to that day every day.
In becoming an IFBB pro, in a city and in a place, I'm sure in a gym environment to where there's other IFBB pros, does that give you any sense of like additional, I'm even more a part of this now. I'm like in a deeper level of this community now at all, or like anything like that?
No, I don't think so, because I don't feel like just because I wasn't a pro that, I wasn't looked at the same as I do now, that I am a pro. Everyone in the fitness community here in Tampa is a part of the fitness community. You can be an IFBB pro, you can be a top Olympian, or you can just be an NPC competitor, and everyone's going to look at you the same. Everyone knows how hard you work, and everyone respects that work that you put in, and we're all here to lean on each other. I talked to a girl who's been competing in the NPC for years, and she continues to tell me how much she looks up to me, and aspires and loves my dedication to the sport. And I look at her and I tell her the same thing. It's like, you inspire me because you're still here working hard and trying to achieve your goal just as much as I'm trying to achieve my next goal. Or there could be a girl who is getting ready to compete at her first show, and she needs help with posing, and she comes up to me and asks me in the gym, hey, can you help me? Of course I'm going to help her. I would love to help anyone that needs help with anything to make them better. That's what we're all here to lean on each other, and that's what is so great about the community here in Tampa. You have to want it, you have to want to do it, and no one else can make you do it. And I think that's what makes it makes you stand out as a person, because some people don't even want to get out of bed every day. And the fact that we want to get out of bed to go do fasted cardio at 5 o'clock in the morning, we're crazy. It's a crazy sport, but it's also something that not everyone can do it. And the people that do it are the ones that are turning pro, and are the ones that are stepping on that Olympia stage. And it's just crazy. It's a really crazy thing that we do.
Being a professional and looking at kind of the future, are you looking at things at this point in terms of like this year, this is what we want to achieve? I'm sure you kind of have those milestones along the way, but is it like a year thing? Is it a 2, 3, 4, 5 year thing? I mean, because you're in the NPC for 5 years and you're building your way up to get this pro card. Is it kind of, do you kind of take that and be like, okay, it's probably going to also take me maybe 3, 4, 5 years to get to where I want to be on this level as well? Or are you kind of just taking it at this point in figuring out almost where you are going to be as a pro?
So I knew that coming off the national stage, I need more muscle to be competitive in the pro league. So that is why I took all of this year off. My focus on this year first was getting healthy after being in prep all of last year. So that was, getting my period back. As a female athlete, I do lose my cycle, and it does take a little while for it to come back. So that was priority number one, getting my food back up, and then, just trying to put on muscle. And my body likes to put on muscle very easily, which is very nice, but it also, putting on muscle means that I put on body fat as well. And that's always my struggle in my off season is, my body likes to be at a higher body fat percentage to be healthy and to put on that size that I need to be competitive in the pro league. So I do plan on prepping in 2024. I don't know when my prep will start. That is up to my coach. I did want to start in December, but it looks like we might have to push that out just a little bit because my body's just not ready. Which is fine because now I can really enjoy Christmas with my family and the holidays, so it's okay. When my coach says it's time to prep, then we'll flip the switch and we'll start prep. And we know where I need to be physically to be competitive on the pro stage. And That's just a goal, a goal to step on a pro stage is the goal, as a rookie athlete, is just to make my rookie debut. And then you just go from there. If I get, God willing, if I get first call outs and I place on my first pro show, that'd be amazing. It just shows that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And then we'll continue to push for that Olympia qualification by winning a show. Or, if I get dead last, then we just need to reevaluate and then go from there. So it's all a stepping stone. You just take each day and each show as it comes, and you just take the feedback and you apply it and you go from there.
This podcast is sponsored by Smoking Gun Coffee, a veteran-owned coffee company that strives to give back to those in need. Don't forget to use code TWR10 for a 10% discount at checkout.
And kind of another longer-term question, but if let's say you do compete for 5 years, and it's like, okay, we've made progress, but we're not where we want to be yet, and it's like, all right, let's give it a little more time, and it's 5 years later, and you're still not, achieving what you thought or what you want to achieve.
I think there's a line that you have to draw, especially as a female athlete. If you want to have a family and you want to have kids, you got to take a step back and think big picture some days. I'm single and I don't plan on having kids. So for me, the only thing that I do outside of work is the gym and competing. And I love to travel too. Don't get me wrong. I have other hobbies as well. But if this sport is exhausting, like we said before, it takes a toll on your mental health and your relationships. And there's gonna be a point in time where you don't want to compete anymore, or I'm not gonna want to compete anymore. And when that time comes, you gotta pull the plug. When you just gotta know when it's time to stop and when it's time to keep going. Do I think I'm gonna be competing for 5 more years? No, I don't think so. Not everyone is meant to get on that Olympia stage, and genetics do play a role. And I hope that my genetics are good enough to step on the Olympia stage, because that is a goal of mine and what I would love to achieve. And I'm going to try to achieve it. And then I guess this coming year will really define that for me, if I'll be on that stage or not, or if I can get to that stage.
I really appreciate you coming on. And if you want to, before we head out, if you want to share your social media or anything like that, you can.
Yeah. So my Instagram is just Casey with, I think it's 2 I. No, it's Casey. Just my name, CASEY_IFBB Pro. So simple.
If you're tired of searching for a coach or trainer, somebody who knows what they're talking about and has experience, make sure you go check out the new Coach's Corner on weightroompodcast.com. You can find quality, qualified coaches to help you achieve your goals, whether that's in bodybuilding or just general fitness. Stop wasting time and start achieving your goals today. The link to the Coach's Corner is down in the description below.